floor join is then grooved, preferably with a mechanical groover correctly set, or can be done by a hand P-type groover as long as a steel straight edge is used. Under no circumstances should a triangular scraper be used, as this will open the joint too wide and take the groove right through to the screed. When welding, a weld meeting another weld at right angles like a T-junction, it is useful to take a flat painter's mate scraper and tape it onto the floor as shown, so that you do not weld and damage the other weld or sheet. Welding is done as usual, moving at the right speed to make sure you get a secure fusion of the weld to the two pieces of sheeting. The final result, as you can see, is a neat weld with no encroachment into either another weld or onto another sheet. Just to prove that the weld is secure here is a demonstration of how difficult it is to pull out the weld if the join is correctly fused at the right temperature and speed. You will notice on pulling out of the weld there is no visible concrete or cement screed showing through the join, which indicates that the two sheets were tight butted before grooving, as being pointed out on the video. Where suitable and on large installations, the new Mozart speed trimmer is a handy tool which will give top quality weld finish provided the sheets are scribed and tight butted and grooved correctly. This piece of equipment will not make a good weld out of a bad join. It is an extremely useful and efficient piece of machinery, again, as you can see the result it gives on the floor. Finally, the weld joint should be glazed, using the heat of the welding gun, being careful to only glaze the weld and not the sheeting at the side, which is PUR coated. Coved miters in the corners need to be hand grooved with a P-type groover, being careful to use a small steel straight edge to keep the joint straight and not too deep, and then would be welded in the normal way. From the video you can see that the groover takes off a tiny strip from each piece of sheeting, ensuring that it is correctly and centrally grooved. The weld process is done normally and carefully, as it is shown, again using the steel scraper or painter's mate to protect the other sheets and weld. A hand groover is used to cut most of the weld, always being careful to do a double cut with a spacer blade in place on the first warm cut. Curved portion, an X-Acto cutter is used to ensure a neat and smooth trim of the weld. Again, the weld is glazed and smoothed after trimming, and if necessary can be sanded very carefully with a shaped sander and 150 grit water paper, being careful not to damage too much of the sheeting on either side of the weld. Once sanded, the joint needs to be carefully solvent wiped lightly only on the weld, and then a light coat of Porosol sealer applied with a soft cloth to prevent the weld from getting dirty in the future. The final result is a delicate and cleanly installed corner. All other welds are completed in the conventional manner, where vertical and coved welding is being done, especially with PUR coated sheeting. A welding tip on the gun with a small wheel can be used to advantage. On the video clip you can see the PUR wheeled weld gadget in action. Again, the result is pretty close to perfect.